Hello everyone and welcome to another Wild Rift Legendary Guides video. In today's video we are going to do a full detailed guide on Vi. We will talk about the abilities, combos, build, runes, and finally tips and tricks that you did not know about Vi. So get ready and let's get started. Vi is a fighter usually played in the jungle as her jungle clear is fast and her ganking potential in the early game is powerful. Gank a lot in the early game to get your allies ahead, although she's a simple champion mechanically. But understanding how to use her strengths correctly will greatly increase the success you have on the champion. If you enjoy the content, it really helps me out if you leave a like, comment on the video and subscribe to my channel. So without further delay, let's get to our ultimate Vi guide. Let's start with her abilities. Her passive, Denting Blows. Every third attack on the same enemy deals 7.4% of their max health as physical damage. This means that the more health the enemy has, the more damage Vi will do with her passive. The passive also reduces their armor by 20% and grants Vi 55% attack speed for 4 seconds. Also, you deal 300 max damage versus monsters. This means that every third attack against monsters, you will deal extra damage. As you can see, the damage that I deal to monsters in third attack deals more damage. You can see the animation down below the dummy as my first attack will cast a blue animation. Then second attack will cast a red animation. Then third attack the animation will disappear and that's when you will gain the passive, which is extra damage, armor reduction and attack speed. Also, you will see the gauntlet glowing at the hands of Vi. This is also when you know that the passive is activated. As you can see, when I attack the dummy for 3 times, I will gain 3 stacks which activates the passive Denting Blows. The Denting Blow is removed if no stack is added in 4 seconds. This Denting Blow has no cooldown, so once Vi hits 3 stacks of her passive, another Denting Blow stacks can be dealt. Multiple enemies can be affected by this passive, each having their own number of stacks and having their own durations. Nearby enemies close to the target you attack do not gain a stack of Denting Blows, only the targeted enemy receive it. Next is the first ability, Vault Breaker. If you hold this ability, Vi will charge up a powerful punch, slowing her movement speed by 15% while gaining increased damage and dash distance. If you cast the ability, Vi will dash forward, dealing physical damage and applying dental blows to all enemies hit. Colliding with an enemy champion stops the punch and knocks the target back. This ability also deals 75% damage to monsters and minions. As you can see, I'm charging up my first ability to gain dash distance. The longer I hold the ability, the longer the range I can dash to and more damage I can deal. And when I cast the ability, I deal damage and I knock the target enemy back. If you immediately cast the ability, it will also knock the target back, but for the minimum amount of damage. But if you hold the ability until full range or until the range of the circle stops expanding, you will deal the maximum amount of damage. So it's very important to understand that casting this ability in full range will deal double the physical damage than immediately casting it. This skill is held for approximately 5 seconds. If this skill is not released within 5 seconds, then the skill will automatically go on cooldown. Vi can move while casting this ability, and you can move the cursor depending on where you want to dash to. This dash stops when the first enemy champion is hit. But if multiple enemy champions are close together and get hit with my first ability, they all take physical damage and stack for Vi's passive. They also get knocked back, all of them. Also, the dash of this ability stops from enemy champions. But using this skill on minions or monsters does not stop this skill, but it still hits all the monsters along with the dash. The monsters hit with your dash are knocked up and receive stack of the passive Denting Blow. This ability can also be used to dash over walls. This ability is very powerful in ganking, especially in the early game. Next is the second ability, Blast Shield. This ability has both passive and active effect. Its passive, hitting an enemy with an attack or ability, grants a stack of Blast Shield. This can stack up to 5 times. Its active, generates a shield that absorbs damage for 3 seconds. Each stack consumed increases the amount of shield you receive. Also, at max stacks grants 70% movement speed. As you can see, when I hit an enemy with attack or with an ability, I gain 1 stack. I gain 1 stack for each attack of ability that hits the target, gaining max 5 stacks. When I activate the second ability, I gain a shield. The blast shield stack has a duration of 5 seconds. One stack is removed each 5 seconds if no attacks or abilities hits the enemy. The more you upgrade this ability, the more shield you will receive. Also, the cooldown of the ability is decreased when you level up this ability. This shield only lasts for 3 seconds. Next is her third ability, Relentless Force. Empowers Vi's next attack to deal bonus physical damage to the target and to all enemies behind it with the same damage to the targeted enemy. Vi stores a charge every 8 seconds and can hold 2 charges at once. As you can see, all enemies behind the target are damaged and receives the same damage as the target enemy. Also, all enemies behind the target that are hit receives a stack from the passive skill. There are 2 charges of this ability, so you can use it twice. The best way to use this ability is by using an auto attack, then second ability, then auto attack second ability. This will let you gain stacks much faster. Next is her ultimate, Cease and Desist. Chases down an enemy champion, knocking them up for 1.25 seconds and dealing physical damage. Vi reveals her target and cannot be stopped while chasing it down. Enemies in the way are knocked aside and take 75% of the damage. The cooldown of this ability is decreased and the damage is increased as you level up this ability. When I use this ability, Vi cannot be stopped, meaning that I will still chase down the enemy even if he flashes out. I would still chase him down, knocking him up for 1.25 seconds and dealing damage to the target upon impact to the ground. All enemies along the way are knocked aside and receive 75% of the damage dealt to the targeted enemy. Vi combos.
Invincible.
For the build and runes, you always start with Trinity Force. It synergizes well with her abilities. It gives you health, attack damage, attack speed, and ability haste. Next item is Sterak's Gauge, gives you 400 health, which will make Vi tanky. It also gives you a shield when you are under 35% HP, and that can allow you to stay alive longer in teamfights. For the boots, you buy Plated Steel Caps if the enemy has a lot of attack damage, or you buy Mercury's Treads if the enemy has a lot of CC or ability power champions. For the boot upgrade, you buy Locket Enchant or Stone Plate in combination with Sterak's Gauge passive, gives you tons of shield. These are the perfect boot upgrade enchantment as it gives you more shield. Next item, Death's Dance, gives you attack damage, armor, and ability haste, also damage reduction and sustain. Next item, Mortal Reminder, gives you attack damage, armor penetration, and anti-heal as it applies grievous wounds. This item can be powerful against healing support enchanters. Last item, Guardian Angel, gives you damage and armor and resurrection by restoring 50% of your health upon revival. With this build you will do tons of damage and at the same time be the tank that your team needs. For the runes, Conqueror for the attack damage bonus it provides, Brutal for early game jungle clear and for early game gank, Hunter Titan for health and tenacity, Hunter Genius for ability haste.